Greetings, Benjamin J. from Ben's Trains with another in the series. Well, a follow-up on that 1930s Marx Joy line motor. This is the one that I picked up the other day. Was missing the intermediate gear, didn't run at all. Lever was broken off, so I've got it up and running. Anyway, when I did the first video, I was saying that it was missing the rear contact, as you see. But if you look at this contact plate, there is no copper strip going to it, as you see. So it never had a rear contactor. I went online and looked, and sure enough, these early motors only used one. Now, why there's a place for two, I have no idea. This is oriented, so it can only go in one way. So I have no idea, but there was no second contactor on the motor. The ones I found online were absolutely identical to this. So anyway, I just want to do a quick experiment and run this on DC. So I've got the wireless remote hooked up. So let's see how this runs. Nice and slow, as you see. As you see, this motor is just running absolutely splendidly. I mean, this motor is 90 years old. It has the original brushes in it. Absolutely incredible that this old motor can run this well. I had to pull the wheels off, of course, to put that intermediate gear on. And did a bit of maintenance on it as far as oiling and straightening out bent parts. But other than that, I've done nothing to this at all. It is running just absolutely splendidly. It's just absolutely incredible this old motor can run this well. And as you see, it's just purring. It's running absolutely perfectly. You couldn't ask this to run any better. Anyway, I'm running this nice and slow. It's on that outside rail. I don't want this tumbling off the table. It's in too good of condition. I mean, physically, it looks bad. But then again, it's 90 years old. And it's got a lot of rust, a lot of oxide on it. But as you see, it has not affected the runnability at all. This is just running absolutely perfectly. Just absolutely incredible. As you see, anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video running this on DC. I hadn't tried this. And it runs really, really well, running on this battery again. Good constant speed all the way around the rail. It's nice and quiet. It has plenty of power. This is actually quite a zippy little motor, forward and reverse. And of course, I did extend that lever since it was broken off. But from what I've gathered, many of them are. But this old motor is just running splendidly. Anyway, I just wanted to do a follow-up video on this. Absolutely incredible. 90 years old. This is about 1930, 1932, something like that. Absolutely incredible that it's running this well. As you see, constant speed all the way around the rail. Anyway, I find these old motors fascinating, especially when they run like this. It's just absolutely incredible. So we'll let it go around one more time and we'll stop it. But just running just absolutely perfectly. You couldn't ask it better, or to run better than this. This is probably exactly how it ran when it was new. Anyway, I just want to do a video. This motor is just absolutely running splendidly. So I've got it pretty well lubricated. I'm going to let it set for a day just as it is. I'm going to blow it out with compressed air. But it is running just absolutely perfectly. You could not ask this motor to run better than this. It is just absolutely incredible. Anyway, I've got that new lever installed, as you see. And it's not original, but at least it makes it functional again, because that lever was completely missing. And I did lubricate all the contact points for the lever that runs that switch. I have not done anything to that switch. I am staying away from that switch. I do not want to even attempt to tighten it up or adjust it or clean the contacts. If anything happens to that switch, this motor is going to be disabled. And I do not want to have to do the bypass on this. It runs too well. So it's not out of a steam locomotive, as it has no push rods. I talked to Gary over at Trains in the Basement. He thinks it's out of the 10,000. So very likely, it's got a super long headlight extension, as you see, for the socket. This will not fit in a Commodore Vanderbilt. This is about, I don't know, probably ½ inch too long to fit inside the shell. So it's definitely not for a Commodore Vanderbilt, and it's definitely not a steam locomotive because there are no push rods. And as you notice, there is no provision for push rods. So it was out of a diesel locomotive. There weren't a whole lot of early diesels. The tin litho, that's all there was. So very likely the 10,000. So anyway, I just want to do a follow-up video on this. It's an incredible old motor. And when you come across things like this, it just makes you look at it in awe. I mean, this thing is running just absolutely perfectly. And what does that say about the way they built motors? Just incredible. For a motor out of a toy to run as well as this is after 90 years is just absolutely incredible. Anyway, I just want to do a follow-up video on this. So I had to replace intermediate gear, and I thought I had to replace one of the contactors, but it only had one. Why? I have no idea, since it has provisions for two, but only one end of that contactor plate has a connector on it. So it only has one contactor. Anyway, I just want to do a follow-up video. So we'll see how this goes. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. It's the kind of thing that actually needs to be on a shelf for people to see. And it should be in a museum or something. And running around a little track, you know, with the manufacturing date on it. Anyway, I find it really, really fascinating that it runs as well as it does. So I just wanted to do a quick video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.